Welcome to today's Explainer. We are jumping right into a classic story that really gets to the absolute heart of action, consequence, and destiny. So, our source material introduces us to this brilliant king from a time long, long ago. And I mean, this ruler was famous everywhere for his immense wisdom. People thought there was literally nothing he didn't know. He was supposedly even aware of the deepest, most guarded secrets of the world, like he even knew what the birds were whispering to each other up in the sky. But here's the catch. The king had a deeply guarded secret of his own, this strange daily ritual that just totally puzzled everyone around him.
Imagine this. Every single afternoon, right after everyone had finished eating and cleared out of the royal dining hall, the king's most trusted servant would bring him one final special dish. And this dish was always tightly covered with a heavy lid. The servant had one strict rule: never, under any circumstances, lift that lid. And for the longest time, he actually obeyed. But day after day, week after week, that unbearable curiosity just grew. I mean, what could possibly be inside? Finally, one afternoon, the temptation was just too much. Making sure absolutely no one was watching, he lifts the lid, and what he finds is completely shocking. Sitting right there, on a royal platter, is a fully cooked white snake.
So the servant is just standing there, absolutely stunned. But then this wild thought crosses his mind. Could this be the secret? Could this snake be the actual source of the king's legendary intelligence? Trembling with this mix of total fear and sheer excitement, he literally cannot help himself. He cuts off a tiny little piece of the white snake and eats it. And I'm telling you, the very second that single bite touches his tongue, his destiny changes forever. Suddenly, he hears this soft whispering sound. He creeps a bit closer to the window and he realizes it's a couple of sparrows outside and they're gossiping. He can understand every single word they're saying. The magic of the white snake has instantly granted him the incredible ability to understand the language of all animals and birds.
Chapter 1. The First Trial, The Missing Ring.
Now, shortly after this massive discovery, things take a very bad turn. The queen's precious ring goes missing. And because our servant is the king's most trusted guy, he's the only person who was allowed to roam freely through the palace rooms. So naturally, he gets the blame. He's unjustly accused, facing actual execution, and he's just sitting by the courtyard pond awaiting his doom. But then, his new superpower kicks in. He overhears a duck complaining to her friends about this terrible stomachache. She literally quacks, "I swallowed the ring that fell from the window." The servant jumps up, rushes the duck straight to the chef, and out pops the queen's precious ring. Just like that, his life is saved.
Choosing the world over power.
So the king feels terrible and tries to offer him a massive royal promotion as an apology. But instead of accepting, the young servant asks for something else, just a horse and enough travel money to go see the world. And this kicks off an incredible 4-day journey that is basically a masterclass in sacrificing short-term comfort for long-term gain. On day 1, he sets off, leaving the safety of the palace. Day 2, he spots 3 fishes gasping for air on the edge of a pond. Because he understands their cries for help, he stops everything to throw them back into the water. Day 3, he's riding down a sandy path, and here's the Ant King practically begging him not to crush their colony with his horse's heavy hooves. The servant immediately veers off the path to save them. And finally, on day 4, deep in a forest, he finds 3 baby ravens kicked out of their nest, literally starving to death. In this ultimate act of sacrifice, he kills his own horse to feed the dying birds, deciding he's just going to walk the rest of the way. Time and time again, he selflessly gives up his time, his path, and his resources for these vulnerable creatures.
And what's really fascinating here is the immediate theme of reciprocity that follows every single one of these events. Whether it's the fishes swimming away, the ant king down in the grass, or the baby ravens eating the meat, every single group makes the exact same promise to him. They all say, "We will remember you, and we will surely reward this."
Section 3. The Beautiful Princess and the Impossible Tests.
Eventually, our servant arrives in this massive, bustling new city and immediately falls for a stunning princess. But there's a huge catch. Her marriage tests are deadly. If you fail, you are executed on the spot. Still, he bravely steps forward to face these 3 impossibly hard tasks. Step 1, retrieve a ring thrown directly into the deep sea. Step 2, gather a massive amount of scattered grain in the pitch black before sunrise. And Step 3, bring back a golden apple from the mythical Tree of Life.
For the first test, the king marches him right down to the ocean, hurls a ring deep into the crashing waves, and just leaves him there. Standing on the shore, the servant is overwhelmed by this absolute human helplessness. I mean, he knows he can't possibly dive that deep. But right at that moment of total despair, guess who shows up? the 3 fishes he saved at the pond. Repaying his past kindness, they swim right up to his feet holding a seashell, and right inside it is the king's ring. Boom, first test passed.
But the princess, she is not easily impressed. For the second test, she brings out this terrifying number, 10. She drags out 10 entire massive bags of millet grain and scatters every single seed across the tall grass of the royal garden. She looks at him and says that by sunrise, all 10 bags must be completely refilled without a single grain missing. The sheer scale of trying to do this in the dark just completely breaks him. He sits down on the grass, totally defeated, just waiting for the end.
But then, as the morning sun starts to peek over the horizon, something amazing happens. He wakes up, rubs his eyes, and finds all 10 bags filled to the absolute brim. Not one single grain is missing. The Ant King returned. Remember that sandy path? Well, the Ant King brought his massive army of thousands of ants, and they worked meticulously all through the night, gathering every tiny seed, completely returning that incredible favor the servant had shown them.
Section 4. The final demand, the Tree of Life.
Okay, so even with the grain gathered, the stubborn princess moves the goalpost one last time. Now he absolutely must bring her a golden apple from the mythical Tree of Life. The problem? He has literally no idea where it is. So he wanders. He walks across multiple cities, entirely different countries, until he's just completely lost and broken. He finally hits this wall of complete exhaustion and surrender, collapsing under some random tree in a dark forest, fully ready to just give up and die.
And just as his hope is totally extinguished, we get this incredible climactic payoff. He hears a rustling in the branches right above his head, and suddenly, a golden apple drops directly into his lap. He looks up, and sitting there in the branches are the 3 baby ravens he sacrificed his horse for. Only now, they're fully grown. They look down at him and say, "We flew to the end of the world for you." The sweet fruit of good deeds. He takes that golden apple back, presents it to the princess, and it finally melts her cold heart. Their joyous wedding proves the absolute power of past karma, showing how all those good deeds paid off with massive compound interest.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer today. But before you go, I want to leave you with this one provocative question to chew on. If you were in his shoes, riding off toward a thrilling new adventure, would you have really stopped your journey for some tiny ants on a road or a few starving baby birds? It is such a powerful reminder that the smallest everyday acts of compassion can absolutely change the trajectory of our entire lives. Thank you so much for exploring this amazing story with me, and I'll catch you on the next one.